All right, thanks so much. Looking forward to presenting more agent stuff here. We've been working with Para on some wallet infrastructure and are starting to use Rails webhooks too. So we built at agents.stablecoin.xyz an agent payments platform. And the important thing here is as we start to build agents, both on the buying and selling side, we're going to have pre-configured wallets and easy ways to use them. We're going to start with this demo on the seller side, showing how to easily monetize an endpoint. And it's very simple. I put together a mock API, run it locally, make it publicly accessible, and then add our X402 middleware to make it a monetizable gated API. So let's just jump into it. So right now I'm in my repo for my API. I'm just going to launch it here, do a little npm install, and then we'll just run the server. Okay, so this is running locally. I'll just go to a browser and show where we're at here. The data is very simple. I just got some mock economic data. Here I'm going to be working with CPI data. Right now it's publicly accessible. This is locally run right now, but it just shows time series data of the different CPI levels. What I'm going to do next is use the agent platform to sell up our seller wallet and then monetize the endpoint. All right, so we go to the platform. I'm going to add an endpoint here. We have the option of choosing a custom address if we have our own wallet, or we can use the Para built-in wallet as well. I'm going to charge 1/10 of a penny. We're going to use Radius, a highly scalable, super fast, and super cheap network. SBC is a native stablecoin on that platform. And you get the option of choosing the protocol you want to use. We have MPP and then also X402. I'm going to set it up with X402. There's some advanced options. I just want to name our endpoint day 0 demo. You can add the URL, description to keep things organized on the platform. All right, it's pretty simple. We create the endpoint and connect a wallet to that agent. So we have a wallet address. Our price is right here. When we generate an API key specific to this agent, it basically connects this wallet to the platform and then to your API, so you can keep track of analytics and where payments are coming from, how much you're selling, what's just the different activity tied to the wallet that's receiving funds. And then it's very simply, we provide an integration prompt. This is based on the framework. I built this mock API using Express. So I just click the Express and it updates the prompt template here with an Express.js type of setup. And then I'm just going to copy this prompt. Our platform also shows the actual code, so you have snippets there, and you can keep track of your wallet balances and some analytics as well. All right, so I copied the prompt. I go back to my Claude code here running on my repo, paste that in, and it's going to work through a plan session and then actually implement the monetization. It's going to work with the actual files to get X402 and our middleware built in. So we'll just see this. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. We'll just see it run a little bit here. And then I'll push it to the back. But it should go pretty quick. All right. So now we have 402 protocol built into our API. And if we go back to our port on 8000, we can check that it's gated. Let's go to, and now we'll see that we have the framework for the payment that's required. So X402 version 2, and then the setup, we have a scheme, exact Radius is network. We have our 1/10 of a penny, and then pay to, that's our wallet address, and then the asset is SBC on Radius. So now we have a gated, and we're going to shift towards the buying side. So create an actual pre-configured wallet on the buyer side and use a real agent in the world to actually make this payment and access the data and work with it. Okay, so one thing I do is I ngrok and make sure this is publicly facing as a URL. I did this here on another version, so I just want to show you what that looks like. It's the same setup. And then we can go to the buyer side and access this domain. All right, so on the buying side, I add an agent here. Call this day 0 demo. We're using the Para infrastructure for the wallets. We use a Radius mainnet. Now on the buying side, we put some pre-configured policies around spending. I'm going to use a dollar limit here. We're just using 1/10 of a penny, but you can have all kinds of limits. You can have a per transaction limit. You can add seller allow lists. So making sure you have some policies around how your agent spends money is going to be important. Create that. We'll go into this and we get you a nice little platform and a checklist to work through. The first thing we need to do is to fund our wallet. I'm going to get our wallet address here, copy that. And then to show a preview of some of the webhook integrations, we created this bridge. I'm going to take SBC on Base and bridge it over to my wallet on Radius. And we'll do that quickly. And this is using Braille's webhooks to implement and make sure the transaction goes through. All right. So we'll let that load. Go back to the platform. One thing to know here too is like when we create an API key on the platform on the buying side, this is basically abstracted away your private key, so your agent never has to expose that. I think that's important as part of the buying side and creating this wallet that interacts with agents in a safe and secure way. And then there's also setup instructions. Your agent has an ID, has your address, the endpoint is listed here, and it's in some code if you want to implement it into a program. Okay, let's see how we're doing on the bridge. Still processing. I'll let that work. Okay, in the meantime, we're going to actually use a Pinata OpenClaw agent. This is where you can have an OpenClaw instance using Pinata's infrastructure here. It's really simple, but I wanted to have an external agent and show you that once you monetize it, it's accessible publicly instead of running it locally. And we've built some really easy to use templates. So in our GitHub, we have templates. This one's called stablecoin wallet agent DZ. What this actually does on Pinata is it pre-configures that OpenClaw instance to work with your SBC agent payment platform buying side wallet. So it actually gives your agent right away the ability to spend X402 payments. All right, so let's go to this. We'll create the agent. And what I do is I use my templates here. I go to my templates. I have implemented the template from our GitHub. This is publicly available, so you can just access it there. We'll launch that template. It goes through the different features, functionality to set up the OpenClaw instance. The two things we need is our SBC agent ID and the SBC agent API key. On the platform, we have our API key, and then in the setup instructions, you'll see your agent ID. So that's implemented already. I will deploy this agent. We're going to use Anthropic. We have our 2 secrets that are required. Deploy the agent. And this just takes a few seconds to load. All right, it looks like the bridge worked. We have a balance of 1 SBC. Give it a couple of seconds. And we'll be updating the platform here as different needs arise, but we're thinking about how do you build trust and identity and delegation. All those things are coming on this platform, but this is very simply around policies and making sure your agent has a pre-configured wallet that's very useful and secure. If you're using agents and wanting to use the platform, definitely reach out with any feedback. Okay, agent has been deployed. So this is an actual OpenClaw instance running on the hosted Pinata cloud. And we have our gated data available at this URL. We use ngrok for that. So I'm just going to ask this agent to retrieve this data, give it the website, and then I'll just do a simple summarize it. All right, let's see what it does. All right, OpenClaw is working. It says it's trying to find a direct fetch approach. All right, it actually knows because the resource is X402 protected. It needs a micropayment, and it's going to access our agent payments platform wallet. Credentials are set, making the payment. And it looks like it's pulling it through. So we're getting a nice summary of the CPI data from January 1st to April 30th. It looks accurate. That's the data we're using. And we have a nice monthly breakdown and overall trend. So that agent got that URL, got the data, and then processed the information here, all through an X402 payment we just set up. Yeah, it's very simple. I'm excited about this type of use case. It's just the beginning of potentially how we can start accessing gated content, really creating an internet that is monetizable through the actual value it's creating. So reach out with any questions. I appreciate the opportunity to demo here. And yeah, thanks so much.